Hi, I'm Vivian the Knitter.
And I'm Emily, the other knitter, and this is the Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast.
Thank you so much for joining us for episode 148 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. This is a knitting and crocheting podcast brought to you by me, Vivian, and my daughters. I'm recording from Michigan.
And I'm coming to you from Florida. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're listening in a podcast app or watching us along on YouTube.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
This episode might go out a little late. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I mean, we had excellent holidays, right? We had Christmas and New Year's, and then we all started getting sick, like one at a time. I got really sick. Your dad was sick.
Mm,
It took a long time to recover. You got sick,
yes. Now baby's sick.
so now the baby's sick. So
And
yeah,
I'm
it
also
hasn't.
maybe my husband
Oh no.
as of this
So it
morning.
hasn't been a very healthy 2025 so far, but
No, it
hopefully
hasn't.
it'll get better. It's got to be better, right? Well, okay, I'm not going to talk about other stuff. But I do have, well, I forgot to ask other than being sick and recovering from being sick, how are you doing, sweetie?
I'm doing okay. I think other than like health things, it's like that January slump. Back
Mm,
to work, back to school,
mm-hmm.
and you know, eh, sometimes getting back into the routine can be like, even, but it's like that shine has rubbed off, and so now I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh.
It's just same old, same old.
Yeah. But other than that,
Um,
fine.
oh,
How are
that's
you?
good. Recovered. So that's good. I haven't gotten my sewing mojo back. I haven't actually sat at my sewing machine since the holidays, other than a couple of repair jobs.
Hmm. I've been the
Uh,
opposite. I've been sewing a lot, and it's
mm.
kind of partially maybe because I don't want to do any work, whether that's like stuff around the house, cleaning, whatever, cooking,
Mm.
or thinking about work.
Well, I before we jump into our crafty bits, Jeanette, her username is Ms. Wiggins on Ravelry, asked me a question. She asked how we all learn to knit or crochet, and I gave her a very sarcastic, sort not really sarcastic, but I said that I taught you to, obviously.
Uh
But then the
huh.
more I thought about it, I was like, did I actually teach you guys? I showed you how, but I didn't, but we didn't really go.
What do you mean?
I mean, I showed you how as children, but you guys didn't really do anything with it then other than like little bits here and there. And then
Well,
you dropped it. And then you
okay,
didn't start back up again until you were much older.
right. Well, you still taught us, and also, yes, we were technically children, but I was a teenager. I mean, there wasn't like,
Oh yeah, you were a little older. I think Allison was a bit younger when when I showed her.
how to
At
crochet.
least the crocheting bit, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, because you didn't start knitting till later either,
That's true. I didn't like
or
pick
at
up the
least not like
needles.
consistent. I
No,
mean,
not until Madeline was in preschool. I started knitting like for real. So it's been
well,
um
so you taught me when I was a teenager, which is not. I mean, I
mhm
wasn't that young, so
mhm.
it's not like when I started. I didn't start really consistently knitting until not even that long ago, like
No,
right
it's I
before
feel like
COVID,
it's only been
like
yeah, it's only been a few years.
2018, 2019,
Mm.
like that, since I've been like consistent anyway.
Mhm.
But I mean, I was old enough that it's not like really old muscle memory that I had, or that I had
Mhm.
to relearn or anything. Like I still remembered everything you taught me.
Yeah. So you
And
had Go ahead.
And whenever I would get stuck or didn't know how to do something, he would show me over
To
FaceTime or
explain.
whatever.
Yeah, we'd have to, because you were in college, and this was before there were YouTube tutorials, so I would hold my phone between my legs, the camera facing out, and then like knit, like if this was my camera, I would knit over here so you can see, because I specifically remember showing you how to do an SSK, and you're like, I don't get it. So like, it's not that hard. But when I started knitting for real, I mean, I had like picked it up every once in a while as a young adult because my mom had all these books, and I would like teach myself how to do like different techniques like cables, entrelac, or something like that, just based on the books. But the funny thing is, I didn't realize I was purling the wrong way. Like if I was doing back and forth, I was purling it backwards so that all the purl stitches, when you turn it back around, were twisted. So my piece, it was hard to count the stitches because every other row, the stitches were twisted. And I remembered showing your Nai, my mother-in-law. I was like, I don't understand why I can't figure this out. I can't count my rows. It's just really hard to count. And she looked at it and it's like, oh, how clever. You're doing like a special stitch. I'm like, what? And then
You're like, no.
she turned like all the it was a small piece, and she turned all the the stitches on the needles for me like the right way. And then I did, I knit it, and then I purled it back, and then it was like that again. And then she's like, wait, let me see you purl. And I was like, I was doing it the opposite way rather than what is it?
You were wrapping it the wrong way?
I was wrapping it the wrong way. I was wrapping it instead of
You're going
counterclockwise. I was going clockwise.
Right.
Because I thought it would be like, if you're on the other side, it should be opposite.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you're supposed to wrap it the same way. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's something that someone actually had to show me. So it's not somebody that knew how to knit had to show me. I didn't figure that out because it was just like based on my childhood memory that you knit and you purl, but I couldn't remember like which way was which. So yeah. So if it wasn't for Nana, I probably would still be doing that.
I'm sure you would have figured it out by now. I would hope.
So, yeah, I mean, like even Madeline, now that she's crocheting again, she has that muscle memory. So, like my advice to, we have some listeners that say, oh, my kids aren't interested at all, blah, blah, blah. So, well, you know what? Just show them. Put the hooks in them. Let them do a few rows, and then maybe it'll be enough for them to pick it up later in life when they're older. Because that's exactly what happened to me. I didn't really have the interest until later in life when I picked it up and I had that muscle memory.
Well, it's like,
so it's
not quite muscle memory, but with sewing, because you taught me to sew really young, 8 years old, the first time using a machine.
Yeah.
And I mean, then later on, not till adulthood, really like sewing again and kind of. I mean, I still remembered everything that you had taught me, so that would have made it a lot easier.
It does because you're not like afraid of the machine. I know a lot of beginners, you're like afraid of the machine. It's going to get messed up. Or I was like, if you can do it as an 8-year-old, then obviously you can do it.
It is like kind of
20-something-year-old.
I would imagine like at the beginning, like learning to thread the machine and stuff like that. That could be a bit nerve-wracking, especially if you're starting by yourself and not like in a class setting or something where you use somebody else's machine, where it's like this is your equipment, now you have to figure out how to use it before you can even get started. I could see how that could be intimidating. So it was, lucky for me that I had a start.
Yeah. So yeah, so my neighbor, I was trying to teach her how to knit, and then we kind of gave up on that, and now she's sort of crocheting, and she's been working on the same granny square for like a year now. I think 2 years, for as long as we've been, I showed her how to crochet,
Mhm.
and she's part of our knitting group, and she's like, well, first of all, she's also left-handed, so that makes it a little difficult, and because it's hard for me to teach her to do it left-handed, and even if I'm sitting across for her, she's like, I can't do it that way. So she doesn't come from a crafty family. She's like, her family never did any of that stuff.
Mm.
So she's always saying, I have no, like, she has no experience with any type of crafts. So it's a lot harder for her to pick up.
You know, I feel like there are at least two different women in my knitting and crochet group that have said that their mothers knit or crochet and
Mm-hmm.
tried to teach them, but they weren't interested as a kid. They
Mm.
then taught themselves later on.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
interesting.
I remember one saying that she was too embarrassed to ask her mom for
Her
help,
mom?
like when she was an adult and wanted to learn, because
Oh, that's so sad.
her mom is like a really, I don't know. She said, I think she's a pattern designer
Oh, but that's so
and
sad to be embarrassed to ask your mom something.
yeah, that is. I mean,
You
I don't
shouldn't
know
be
what
embarrassed to
their
ask
relationship
anything of
was,
your
but
mother. Well, it's sad for me. Okay, let's move on to our whips. Do you have anything?
yes. Um, uh, Knitting wise, I'm kind of in the same, or I have the same whips from last time, but my Woodland Walk socks, I finished one sock.
Oh, that looks really cute. Nice.
Thanks. I think, yeah,
Halfway,
feel
you're
pretty
at least
good.
halfway done. Yeah.
Um,
So who's the designer for that again?
uh,
Mm,
it was a free pattern. My,
okay, I gotta look it up right now.
okay, you look it up. And so I've started the second sock, and um, I got, that's two
Looks
pattern
like two
repeats.
repeats. Yeah. It's by This Handmade Life. There's no name other than This Handmade Life.
Well, I'm pretty happy with it. And last night I was performing, um, and some of the other performers were looking at me knit because we had to be there like way earlier than we needed to be,
Mm.
and but way early, really early call time for when we were performing. But one of the other performers, he's like, please tell me that you're knitting something for the baby because it's so small. I know it's a sock. They're like, oh.
Uh,
He's like, I need to learn how to knit. Yeah. Instead of just sitting around right now, you could be
yeah,
knitting.
there's a lot of hurry up and wait when you're performing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I have the sunsuit, the sailboat
oh yeah, you only
sunsuit.
had the crotch done last time.
Yeah, I have the whole back done now.
Oh, look at that. Okay, now it looks like shorts. Like you can.
Yeah, they look like hot pants. Look like they could be panties for me or something right now.
Uh huh.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's really not super exciting right
I
now. But
couldn't find the link to that.
oh, I did not see the pattern is not on Ravelry. And I was supposed to put it
Mm-hmm.
on. But the pattern, um, it's a Vogue knitting pattern.
Mm.
Uh,
Well, send me the link to where you bought it so I can put it in our notes because I wasn't able to do that last time.
oh, okay. It's well, I didn't buy it. It came from a Vogue knitting book that
Oh, okay.
Christmas.
Well, send me the link. Send me the picture of the book, name of the book,
Okay, I'll do that.
so I can link it on like Amazon or something. Um. Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'll do that. Anyways, so yeah, those are my knitting whips. But I do have so the sewing projects that I've been working on is costumes for the Ren Fair here. Um, So for my husband and the baby, I'm gonna make them matching costumes.
Uh-huh.
Gonna be little Elizabethan privateers, and uh, I'm almost done with uh, most of the pieces. But so the pattern is, yeah, I don't recommend the pattern. It's from Reconstructing History, and it kind of sucks, but it's fine. At least like my sewing knowledge and skills is good enough that I can like fill in the gaps because like the instructions are just they're terrible. But so I have a red
Oh, cute.
jerkin, which oh my god, it's
You
so
even
huge you can't see
lined
it.
it?
Yeah, it's lined with linen. It's like a red twill because
Mm-hmm.
that was the best cost-effective fabric I could find for this. But it's got the little tabs on the bottom. I just started putting on the
Mm-hmm.
buttons,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't gotten very far with the baby one, but a bit of tiny little red
You're
vest.
telling me that you didn't give him enough belly room.
Yeah. So,
Did you fix that?
no. Well, I'm just going to. I'm just going to. So I I gave more space on this, but like it's not enough to turn it. What
Uh-huh.
am I trying to say? Um,
For a hem?
I no, I added more. I added more to the opening
Mm-hmm.
on the fashion fabric. So the lining is a little
Mm-hmm.
small. So, but it like wasn't quite enough. So
So
I'm
I
just going
have
to
a suggestion.
yeah.
Instead of putting buttons like you have for
I know, but I already
the
bought the
big costume,
buttons.
that's okay. You can always do like lace up.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to match.
You can match, but be like slightly different.
Well, so I added more so that when I turn it or when I sew it to the lining, I was going to just like almost like itself face of
Mm-hmm.
the opening, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not quite enough. So I'm going to add some of the red fabric to the end of the lining and then just sew it in like that.
No.
So it just
Okay.
takes away half-inch seam allowance, and it
Mm-hmm.
should be fine. I
Okay.
That probably makes no sense if you're not looking
If
at
you
what
don't
I'm
sew.
doing, but
Yeah.
anyway. And then I
Okay.
have the pants done for balloony pants.
Wait, will they have
Bitches.
hats?
I don't know, mother. I still need to make I still need to make the shirt too for them. So that might be
Wait,
it. And if I had
I
my
think we
way,
have an old pirate's hat.
oh, but
Would it be? It would probably be too big for Quentin
well,
anyway.
that would not be the right time period.
Okay,
Anyway,
fine.
like a
Not
tricorn hat.
limited.
No.
Yeah.
Um. Well, I say if I
What
had
do
my
they wear on
way.
their heads?
Um. Well, in my pattern, you can see pattern.
Oh,
They
but
actually have these
you
like
can make them a
felted
knit cap.
hats.
Is
That
it felt
yeah,
or knit?
I think they're felted. They're wool felted. I think is what they what it said. But
Oh, you can just give them
maybe
a.
it's a wig. Uh,
Uh-oh.
but yeah, if I had my way, then they would also be stockings. But I don't think Nelson's gonna do that, so fine. I'm gonna make a white linen shirt to go
Mm-hmm.
underneath with the ruffles, the
Mm.
sleeves, and the collar.
It's a lot of fabric.
um, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fabric when I make anything for my husband. But yeah, there's too many things that I'm trying to do. And then I also am planning on revamping this gown in the back
Mm-hmm.
over here.
Mm-hmm.
Was the Elizabethan gown I made last year, which I like. I kind of I took off the sleeves and the shoulder rolls because It just didn't look right.
You,
And
you,
honestly, it's because I was like rushing through it. And like even if I just like did a Google search and just researched a little bit more, because again, it's the same company, same pattern,
mm-hmm.
same company for this pattern that is not great with the instructions and didn't really specify how to put them on or whatever. And I should have just like looked at some reference photos but I don't know. I just the way I did it, it like cut off too high.
Mm-hmm.
The shoulder roll goes like all the way into the armpit, but I had it stop at the
Was there a
neckline.
purpose for the shoulder rolls other
It's just
than
this style.
decorative?
style.
Mm.
Um, so I wanted to fix that, and then I have this gold trim that I wanted to add to the bodice, just for,
Mm-hmm.
and then and then I also I don't know if I'm gonna get into all this, but I got a pattern for the farthingale that goes underneath, which is like a kind of like it's like a hoop skirt, but it's more a cone shape.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, for not for this costume, for the Anne Boleyn costume I made, I ordered a farthingale online,
Mm-hmm.
and it was basically just a hoop skirt. Like it was like big and like
Oh,
bell
it's too
shaped,
big.
like it should be under a
Uh-huh.
ball gown. Like it was not the right shape at all,
Mm.
which was annoying. So I guess I'm gonna make my own. And then I know it's too much, but I made a kirtle to go underneath the dress that goes underneath the overgown, but I didn't like it. And I ended up dyeing it, but then the dye was like just it did not look like
Was
the
that
right
the pink
color.
one?
Yeah, it ended up pink, but I was trying to dye it like a burgundy color.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did wear this last year, I just ended up wearing a white skirt that I had made before
Mm.
that just like it looks good enough underneath, but it didn't look quite right because it doesn't have like the right shape, and so like the split skirt, it didn't really split, like it would stay closed. So hopefully with the structure underneath, it'll like show the opening, and then I'm gonna make a new kirtle with this gold fabric that I have that I bought. Well,
Okay.
that's the
Good
plan
luck.
anyway. We'll see. We'll see if any of that gets done.
uh,
But anyways, what are your
um,
whips?
right now, I just have been working on two. So I was working on my Yale cardigan by Marie Wallin, and you know how like when you block something, it always blocks a little bit bigger than before you block it. So you're supposed to the knit the body until you have 7 3/4 inches of the armhole steek. And I
Hmm.
was like pulling on it. I was like, oh, when it blocks, it'll be about 7 3/4. And then so I start biting off the shoulder. You do some shoulder shaping, and then you
Uh-huh.
sew it all together. And then I started crocheting um, the crocheting the stabilizing stitches, or it's just so it doesn't run. But you this in between the
Uh-huh.
crochet is where you're gonna cut.
Okay, I see.
Forget what it's called. So I did that, sewed the shoulders together, and then I was so nervous. I'm like, I don't know. I decided, you know what? I instead of steeking it, I redid the bottom um the bottom ribbing, but it's not actually ribbing, it's seed stitch, the bottom hem.
Mm.
And I didn't like the way it was curling, so, and also I had too many stitches. So I had this little dangle thing.
Right,
So
yeah, I
I
remember.
cut it all out and I redid it as ribbing, and I'm going to just have like a fold over hem. That
Okay,
should help with the
sure.
anyway.
It-
So and then I blocked it. I
mm.
blocked it. It didn't really row. So I'm glad I didn't actually cut it, because I was looking at it, I was like, there's not, and plus there wasn't enough like stitches, vertical stitches to pick up the 150 stitches around for the sleeves, or whatever the number was. It was about 150. I was like, okay, so I had to tear out what I sewed, which was okay, but then I had to frog the the bind off up here on the shoulders. What a pain in the butt. I ended up cutting a lot of it because this is really sticky yarn. It's not a superwash. It's just, just wool. So I finally got it back on the needles. So now I'm just want to knit like another inch or so before I start doing that. But I think instead of binding off, like, you have to do the front and the back separately, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then while you're knitting back and forth, either the front or the back, you have to bind off like, I don't know, 10 stitches on each row for how many times, and then another number for so many rows until you get to the very center,
Center.
right? So instead of doing that, I'm thinking I'll just do short rows, and then
Mm-hmm.
all the stitches will be live at the end, and then I could do a 3 needle bind off
Yeah.
at the very end instead of what the pattern calls for. So I did take a picture of what it looked like when it was all sewn up. That's the armholes. Oh no, here's the center stick stitches right there. So for those, since I haven't really talked about this in a while, for our audio listeners, it's a color worked cardigan, and it's steeped. And there's a lot of color on the bottom hem, but then on the upper torso it's just 2 colors, like a geometric type print.
The sleeve has the colors too.
The sleeve is the same. It'll have the 2 color geometric, and then there will have bands of the same colors as the bottom of the sweater. I don't know if it has exactly the same like number of bands, but it has at least some of these. And then like the button band will have like 3 of these bands going up and down. So yeah, I am excited about it. I'm getting pretty far.
Yeah, I feel like that would take me 5 years to finish.
Well, it's taking
like
me
a lot of work.
It'll be almost a year.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's taking you this long.
March 1st. Well, I keep setting aside for other things, but I realized
but still,
when I was looking back at all my projects, I didn't knit anything for myself other than that, and I didn't finish. So that means I didn't finish anything for myself. Everything was for somebody else. So that's that, and my. Well, you kind of know, it's like, how many sweaters can I knit for myself?
Yeah, I guess.
And you and Allison are smaller than me, so if I knit something for you guys, it doesn't take as long. Though Madeline is bigger than me, so I think I owe her a sweater.
You owe her a sweater. She can start making her own.
Crocheting, not knitting.
Yeah.
She's not really knitting. At least not yet. We'll get her knitting. So my second whip is a new one. I'm also making a Lento sweater, the same sweater that Allison made, and I've already separated for the sleeves. And I started this less than a week ago. It's going so fast. I can understand why all of her friends made one, and then some of them actually have made more than one.
It's fast. Like, it hasn't been too boring with like just being stuck in it.
No, because I'm knitting this on size 10 needles. And that's why it's going so fast. I actually had to go out and buy size 10 needles. I didn't even have. I had one set that wasn't cutting it because it was. Anyway,
I guess I gotta make one now too. Jeez.
So it's held. So this is by Jonna Helin, and it's in one of the Lane magazines. You hold a fingering weight and a lace, like mohair. Mine is mohair. I think the pattern calls for a Surrey alpaca plus silk. but this is mohair and silk, so it's pretty much the same. And so, but I got my yarn from Knit Picks, so it's very affordable. Held together with size 10 needles, and usually do not. I hate making at least sweaters for myself in giant needles because that generally means it's going to be thicker yarn, unless it's lace weight.
Mm.
And I don't like wearing like bulky
Yeah.
or chunky weight sweaters. It's just too hot for me. I get too hot. In fact, like this sweater this is sport weight. There's only certain days I can wear it. Yeah. So because I mean, it's just
Very
gonna go
neutral for you.
It's pink.
Yeah, but it's like a light, dusty pink.
Yeah, I didn't like
Very
the
ballerina
pattern.
pink.
It is. The pattern picture is like a dark forest green. And I was thinking of maybe making something in blue, but I have a lot of blue things. So I decided, and pink is like my next
You've done
favorite
a
color.
lot of like slightly more neutral things for yourself lately. That and your folklore cardigan,
Yeah.
the Miserina. It had the spring green, but it was mostly gray.
Well, I mean, I usually do, like, if I do color work, it's gray and something. Like, the gray is the base, and then the other colors.
But it was a lot of gray. It was a little bit of green. It's not like it was green all over. There was only green on the top.
I'm thinking like, it's like, this is like, instead of wearing a sweatshirt at home, I can just wear this, and it's really fluffy, and everybody's like been like fondling it as I'm making it, like not just like family members, but my knitting group, they were like fondling it. I'm the only actual knitter in the knitting group. Yeah.
Very pretty.
So I really like it. So maybe I'll finish it by the time I get to Florida. I can wear it on the airplane.
Yeah, and that's it. Actually, it's been a little chilly here. This morning when I was in here sewing, and then I smelled something burning. I look at my iron when all my iron's not plugged in. Maybe I left a burner on. I went over and I'm like freaking out, like running around, and I woke up Nelson because he was still sleeping. I was like, something burning. He's like, it's the heater. I'm like, the heater. Well, also it's still set to cool, the thermostat. So it's like, why is it? I guess it just ran for a little bit because I heard it shut off. I'm like, oh, it is the heater.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it did snow like 30 miles from here.
It was only 30 miles?
Well, it snowed heavily in North Florida,
not
near here. And then yesterday or the day before yesterday, it snowed in Wellington, which is where one of the dance studios that I used to work at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just like flurries.
Stick or anything.
No.
Northern
Florida, it really stuck. Like there was like real ground cover.
People, Floridians, the kids want to go out and play in the snow, but they don't have any equipment. So the mom's like wrapping plastic bags around their hands because they don't have gloves.
Yeah, I get it.
Or anything.
That's funny. Last night when I was performing, one of the girls was wearing a scarf and mittens. I'm like, it is not that cold. It was like 59 degrees outside. It was chilly because it was windy and humid, but like it wasn't mittens cold. Anyway.
Well, when you're used to 90-degree weather all the time.
Yeah, I know.
50s is pretty cold, I guess. I mean, 50s for us is like,
the low here today and yesterday is 40s. So, that's pretty cool.
Oh, I mean, talk about cold. There were a couple days that we didn't even get out of the single digits during the day. That's how cold it was. So then, like at night, it was in the negatives. So Madeline had a couple of programs that were canceled because school was canceled, and plus,
Yeah.
so school was canceled. Like her programs were canceled.
Anyway,
So, yep.
any
Enough
other
of
whips?
weather talk. No, that's all the whips I have. You wanna jump into our BuzzFeed?
I realized I took a screenshot of my thing, but I
But it's on your
on my
phone,
phone.
which you're recording. Okay, take it real quick, and I'll read.
Okay.
I picked this one because Emily's favorite Disney character was always Winnie the Pooh. So it's which Winnie the Pooh character best represents who you are in your group of friends. And I got, what did I get? I got Christopher Robin.
Oh.
It says, you are a creative, kind, and loving friend. You are a creative, kind, and loving friend. You care about everyone and want to help them. Your friends know that they can always come to you if they have any problems or if they need help with anything. I think I'm very helpful. So I'm Christopher Robin. What'd you get?
Well, this time I got Rue, but the last time I took it, I got Kanga. It's kind of funny. But it says you are an energetic, adventurous, and outgoing person. I don't know about outgoing. You love to take risks,
Energetic.
even if it means you might break some rules. You may be pretty stubborn at times, but people love to be around you when they want a rush of adrenaline. Don't rely on others and prefer to be independent. That's like, other than the outgoing part,
You do
fairly
like to be
accurate.
independent. Yes. You're very independent. Unfortunately for your mother sometimes.
Stop guilting me in public now. Uh, anyway,
I'm just
so
saying that I have a hard time with it sometimes.
I
Like
know, I
especially when you were growing up, like, oh, I gotta let go.
know.
Okay, first question. How would you spend an afternoon by yourself? And the options are doing something productive, taking a nap, binge watching a show, exploring, playing sports, and reading. I said binge watching a show because I decided to be honest. I think the first time I took it, I said reading because, that's something I do like to do.
Yeah, I said reading, but I almost wanted to do doing something productive, but I'm like, I don't know. I would be doing something, but not productive. Like, I'd probably be in the sewing room all the whole day. But I don't, is that really productive
That's
though?
productive, sort of.
Productive
Yeah.
on something completely unnecessary.
Which snack sounds filling? Candy, chips, crackers, sandwiches, vegetable, nothing much.
Who would say vegetables? Chips.
I mean, it is filling. I said chips too. Uh, what is the scariest? Being alone and forgotten, losing someone who is very close to you, things that don't go according to plan, losing all of your knowledge, losing your friends, everything. I didn't really see the everything. I said losing someone who is very close to you.
I figured. That's why I said
That's what you said too? Okay.
yeah. The
What sounds like.
Oh no, I was gonna say things that don't go according to plan. I think I know who that's for. Rabbit.
I thought you were talking about family members.
Oh no, I meant two characters.
Next question. What sounds like the most fun? Exploring the forest, having a snack, skydiving, sleeping, hanging out with friends, going shopping. I almost picked having a snack.
Did
I
shopping?
definitely picked having a snack earlier,
Uh-huh.
but I had lunch, so when I took it again, I said hanging out with friends. Hanging out with friends. I don't like going shopping as much as I used to.
I
So
don't
hanging out
know.
with friends. What?
Maybe just different kind of shopping.
Yeah.
Yarn shopping, home goods
Oh man.
shopping, fabric shopping. I debated between hanging out with friends and exploring the forest. So I picked exploring.
Exploring the forest. How would your friends describe you? Energetic, adventurous, protective, intelligent, responsible, kind, charismatic, and mature. What did you say?
I said
Adventurous?
adventurous. I didn't really know what to take, honestly.
I said protective. It's kind of hard to think what my friends would think of me.
Yeah, I
mean,
think I
that's
said
how-
protective the first time. I think that's the only thing.
I think my friends would describe me as intelligent.
I think your friends would probably, from this list, I think they would probably pick kind.
Okay.
Not because you're not smart.
I think, I don't know, because I kind of like picked it for like how I think. I'm not doing the quiz right. Finally, what is something you look for? What is something you look for while making friends?
Humor.
There's only 4 answers
trust,
for that.
humor,
Trust, humor,
adventure.
adventure, and intelligence. What'd you say?
Humor.
I did too. Humor, yes. Okay. We had a few things that were the same, but otherwise,
I'm
I
not
guess
Allison.
I feel like half and half. No, you're not. You're not Allison.
But
You're my
I do know you,
Aimee.
at least. Most of the time, I know what you're going to pick.
Yep. Okay, that's our BuzzFeed quiz. That's who we are. That's That's what represents who we are in our group of friends.
Oh.
I
feel like that doesn't really give you that distinction when it tells you who you are. Like, it's just who you are, not like how you are your friend.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Anyway.
I mean, these quizzes are 100% accurate and scientifically,
Yeah.
Of course. Okay. Do you have any FOs?
I sort of. I just brought this up because I don't have anything else. But I did like a thrift flip because I had this. I think I have a picture put up. I bought this skirt from Depop, this maxi length velvet skirt, which choice, a lot of fabric. But I chopped it so it's short now. The red maroon velvet, and then there was a lot of extra fabric from the bottom. Fit into a little top to match,
cute.
which I tried to make it
you have
for.
that much fabric.
You know, right?
Left over.
Which I feel like because I had so much fabric, I felt like I needed to do something that used a lot of fabric. But I kind of regret it now. I think it's a little too bulky. It's like a little square neck, all in one sleeve top with the gathering at the shoulder.
Neck.
I do love square neck. And I like the style of it. I think it's just a little bulky in the velvet. But I am not going to change it because sewing with velvet sucks.
Yeah,
so, it is what it is.
Makes a mess. It makes a giant mess, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was supposed to be my Christmas outfit, but it wasn't done. I wore the skirt, but not the top.
So I have a few FOs. So you remember last time I listed all of my FOs for 2024? Well, I missed one.
You missed one of mine too.
I did?
Yeah, it must have been where, you wrote that I had a shawl or something. You probably put that in on accident because I had a stocking, Christmas stocking. That didn't really fit in any category. But anyway.
Oh, it's the blue and white train one, right? That you made for?
Yeah, blue, green, and
white. Okay.
Anyway,
we can stick a picture of it right here.
It's fine. It's fine.
So mine is the. What's it called? It's called the Brioche Starter Hat by Raina, of course. So that's it. It's just a plain brioche hat, but I decided to do the bottom part a different color.
Like,
Yeah, so I did one color brioche for most of the body, but the bottom part had two color brioche with the same color that I used for the pom pom.
oh, the bottom is two color?
The bottom, oops, the bottom is two color,
Oh,
but the top is one color.
so the top is lavender,
Yeah, it's a lavender color.
and the bottom is like spring green and lavender.
Uh-huh.
From the on my screen, it just looks like it's all green. Purple.
Oh, really?
Well, when you bring it close, I can tell. But from far away,
Well, it's the pattern doesn't have you do that. I think the pattern is two colors all the way. Let's see. Yeah, the pattern is two colors all the way through, and I just I made it a little longer so you can fold the brim up, but then I realized I should have made it a little bit longer than that because there's not really much material to flip over.
oh, cute. The colors
So I,
look like
hmm?
it looks like colors that I would have worn when I was 11. Like, very
It's the color of
purple
your
and
old
green.
bedroom. Your old
Yeah,
bedroom is this color.
I had two pairs of short overalls that were those colors. One purple, one green.
Yeah, yeah.
So they were all
So that's my first FO. My second FO is finally finished my purse socks number 14.
oh
Woohoo! Look at that, they're
yeah.
done.
Now you
With
can
the
be finished and never look back.
Yep, I can give them to Allison. This is the one that I did the princess soles, and I knit the second sock practically twice because I knit, and then I forgot to do the princess soles, and I kept going until I got to the toe decrease, and then I decided to pull my first sock out and went, crap, I didn't do it.
Could have just had
So
one foot.
I mean, that's taking it, two socks not the same, a little bit too far. 'Cause, how many times have I done two different cuffs on the same pair of socks? So these go to Allison. So they go to Allison. And my third FO is the A.N.T hat by Aimee DeBaun. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. It's the A.N.T, a new take. And it's reversible. So I did I did green on one side and pink and blue and white stripes on the other side. And this is another hat where I probably should have made it a little longer so I could flip it over more.
Well, it's very different, the inside versus the outside. So I feel like not being able to flip it
It's
is
fine.
not a
So I
big
just
deal.
wear it as a slouchy hat. You just wear it as a slouchy hat. But it's not, I don't feel, Madeline says it's fine. I guess I like my hats tighter around the ears because like the wind would just go, just like they'll blow it off your head if it's really really windy.
I guess. Cute.
Okay, that's my last FO. That's all I got. Oh no, I have one more. A sort of FO. So
Still going.
Yep, I'm still going. I made the it's not an actual FO. It's like I redid something.
Oh, okay.
So this is
right.
the Sailaway Cardigan by Michelle Green. Michelle Green, is that right? Yes. Sailaway Cardigan by Marie Green. Sorry, not Michelle. And I never liked how the collar was too wide. Like it was me being too smart for my own britches. So the original collar, it's top down, and you start with the collar, and you knit you do the ribbing, the 2x2 ribbing for 4 inches. I'm like, that's too long. that's like, I don't have a swan-like neck. It's just going to be too high for me. But even like looking at the pictures of the actual cardigan, I don't know. I think it still would have been. I think it still would have been an issue because she's got two versions: the coastal grandma version, which is the one I did, and the other version, which I don't know what it's called. Yardage. She calls it yardage. No, she doesn't call it yardage. Original version. It's the yard. I'm looking at it. It's the yardage for the original version. It's it's a little. It is a little bit higher on the coastal grandma, but it's still pretty low. Like so I never liked wearing it because it was so low, and also the collar just felt really like loosey goosey. So I had to cut off or frog the button band off, and then cut off the collar, and I redid the collar, and I did more decreases to make the neck hole smaller, so it fits more properly now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have to put the buttons on. But whatever I did for the buttons, I made the buttonholes per the pattern. The buttonholes that I made later on were different kinds of buttonholes. So the buttons that I bought that I originally had that I cut off of the sweater, they're too big for these buttonholes. So I had to go out and buy new buttons. Like, I'm not redoing that. I didn't even remember what kind of buttonholes I did. It was probably not yarn over two together buttonholes. Something a little bit more complicated. So I just have to sew it back up, and I'll be able to wear it more. Be more comfortable wearing it.
Thank you.
So is this an FO? I think it's an FO. It's
Sure.
a super FO. And then when I sew the buttons on, I'll bring it back. Look, I sewed the buttons on.
That's how you bring your FO count up, huh? You're sneaky.
I'm not gonna count this as an FO. Okay, so that's all I have, crafty wise. Yep. I hope maybe I'll have my sweater, my my Lento done by next time. No, I'm not gonna have it done by next time, because this part it goes fast because there's not that many stitches around the neck, and then now it's like kind of the boring
slow
part.
down a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm still very happy with it. I can't wait to be finished, and then I can go back to my yell, finish that, and work on other things.
Keep going on the never-ending queue.
Yep. So I think it's time for you to get back to your baby, and for me to do the spiel. I haven't done this in a long time. The show notes for this episode and every episode can be found on our website, kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can find us on Instagram, also at kcacypodcast. My personal Instagram is upstate_Viv, and Emily's is Emmerdale Crafts. You can like, comment, review, rate, subscribe, and favorite on YouTube or wherever else you listen to podcasts. You can also join us on Ravelry. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry Yarn in the Groups tab. So, thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn. Bye.
Bye.